Warning, the following program has been rated T for truth.
You can't handle the truth!
Oh, we think you can. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report with your host, truth warrior and mythbuster Kathleen Wells. The place where we distinguish fact from fiction, where data is used to drive points home, and where Kathleen takes the position that Democrats and black politicians have destroyed Black America. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. Now, your host, Kathleen Wells.
Welcome to the Naked Truth Report. It's me, your host, Kathleen Wells. Let's see, what do I want to talk about today? Well, I said on my promo that I was going to talk, they play the promo during the week. Yeah, and I change it every week, at least I try to. Well, they said I was going to talk about Nancy Pelosi taking impeachment off the table. Yeah, I want to mention something about that. And what do I want to say? Yeah, of course they have to take it off the table. Why? Well, Devin Nunes said that it's like a strategy on her part. She really wants to impeach him. I don't know if that's true, but they have to take it off the table because they cannot win, because there was no Russian collusion. Because the Mueller report will show there was no Russian collusion, because there was none. Because now we see documents trickling in, transcripts, and it's showing that there was no Russian collusion. In fact, it was the Democrats, it was the Hillary campaign that has colluded with Russia. And there was no obstruction of justice either. Because President Obama is, he can fire whoever he wants. And there was reason enough for, Comey to be fired, correct? So this is why Nancy Pelosi must take impeachment off the table. But then I saw Congressman Al Green on Washington Journal the other morning. I think it was Friday, and he was talking about how he still wants to impeach President Trump. So this brings me to the fact that Black Americans have no advocate for Black America. Oh, I don't want to call us Black Americans anymore. I want to call us Native Black Americans. Those of us who have been in America for generations, since its founding. Yeah. We are native to America. We are, our ancestors have fought in every war, right? In fact, the first casualty in the Revolutionary War was Crispus Attucks, a Black man, right? Enough of us don't know our own history, and we must learn it, because we must advocate for us. Because as I said, life is a competition between groups. Racism is a competition between groups. We don't know that. We're learning it though. And YouTube is the best thing for Black America. I think it's fantastic because you have so many Black YouTubers, Native Black American YouTubers. We are the directest American. It's hashtag ADOS. You can check it out on Twitter because folks are using it. Hashtag ADOS, American Direct Descendants of Slaves. That's who we are. We've been here since the founding of the country. Yes. And it's important for us to know this history because so many people, first of all, I want to say that our politicians, even though we vote for them, they do not reflect our interests, our group interests. No one advocates for us on mainstream media anywhere. No one. We have to advocate for ourselves. So this is why I would like you, this is some housekeeping I'd like to do. I'd like folks to, I'm live streaming on YouTube. So please go to my YouTube channel, the Naked Truth Report YouTube, please, and click like and share and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also you can see me in the studio because, as I said, I'm live streaming. So, I want to get my numbers up because I have to get on the national stage because I'm saying something that's not being said. You don't hear it. What I say on the radio show, you don't hear it in the dialogue, in the conversations in the mainstream media, and it needs to be heard. Because I'm an advocate for my group, yes. No one else does it. No, there are other people on YouTube, and that's why I say YouTube is a fantastic thing for Native Black Americans because there are many YouTubers that are, talking about the issues. Because the establishment politicians like Al Green, who represents an impoverished and probably highly populated illegal alien district in Texas, is not reflecting or not representing the interest of Native Black Americans, despite the fact that Native Black Americans put Al Green in office. Despite the fact that, we've gotten nothing for 6 decades of sustaining the Democratic Party. Native Black Americans have gotten nothing for that. In fact, not only have we gotten nothing, and I was, I saw a documentary. I was watching, what was I watching? Oh, I saw that What's Love Got to Do with It with Tina Turner, Ike and Tina Turner. And so I was just, I was just sort of fascinated by it. And I started looking on YouTube at Tina Turner back in the day. Ike and Tina Turner and the Ikeettes. This was in the, I think 60s. Yeah. The early, like 1960, 1962, 67, 68 kind of thing. No one worked harder than Tina Turner in the music industry in that era, during that time. No one worked harder than Ike and Tina. Well, I'll say Tina Turner. And to me, now she's actually relinquished her U.S. citizenship, and she's living in she's been living in Switzerland for 20 years. And I saw an interview that she had done recently, just last year, or maybe this year, after, her son committed suicide, her oldest son committed suicide. And she had conducted an interview with an Australia, with an Australian host, interviewer. And she had relinquished her U.S. citizenship. And, for that generation or that era, no, I mean, because there are many celebrities, many musicians, many artists that came before Tina Turner that worked hard, like Bessie Smith and Sarah Vaughan and so on and so forth, right? And even before that. But what I was thinking is, like, no one moved their feet faster than the Ikeettes. I mean, they moved and they did so many gigs. And in fact, that was something that she reflected upon when she was doing the interview in Australia, is that, her oldest son was a sensitive guy and lonely. And, when he was growing up, her and Ike were on the road like 10 months, 11 months out of the year. And they didn't have, like, her kids were basically raised by, outsiders, and, and they experienced the anguish, the abuse and the turmoil that Tina Turner lived in with Ike. Her children experienced that. And, her son committed suicide, as I said. But I think no one worked harder during that time, because I'm sure, all entertainers worked hard, I think. All the popular ones, and even the ones that didn't become popular. You can go back to the blues era and so on and so forth. But for me, this is just for me. It doesn't have to be for you. But for me, Tina Turner is like Black America. Symbolically. She's like dancing as fast as she can, dances as fast as she can, and yet abused and beaten, behind the scenes. That she reflects Native Black Americans. I think of Tina Turner. So, and she sort of deserves to go to Switzerland, right? And for 20 years and just take it easy and live the good life and be appreciated and be respected and not have to think about all the turmoil and angst and anxiety and stress and depression because she was depressed when she was dancing as fast as she could as an Ikeette, or when she was Ike and Tina Turner in that group in the early 60s. She was like moving her feet like gangbusters, like nobody's business, giving all of her soul and energy. And it makes me think of also Michael Jackson. It makes me think of a lot of entertainers, Black entertainers, which, Black entertainers have shaped America so dramatically. So in such an impactful way, right? And so when I think of Native Black Americans, I think of Tina Turner, symbolically. And, she deserves to, take a break. She paid her dues several times over. She was able to, even reinvent herself and start a second career at 40 with a whole new kind of genre that she, and had a second career, which she earned. And she worked hard. She gave her all during that period too. There's so many entertainers, Black entertainers, that gave their all and never got their due. But there's so much chicanery, that word I like, trickery, trick up the sleeve that goes on in America. And this makes me think about the college admissions scam, right? And it also makes me think about the Southern Poverty Law Center. It's a hoax organization. It's a fraud. It's a con. It's a scam. They have like $500,000. No, $500 million. Over $500 million. Over $500 billion, hidden away in assets. Much of it in overseas Cayman Islands and stuff like that. The Southern Poverty Law Center, who from 1971 to 1979, whose president was who? Julian Bond. The civil rights activist Julian Bond, who worked with Dr. King, And now the Southern Poverty Law Center. It has its blacklist of hate groups. In fact, Terry Anderson was on that hate list, was on the blacklist. And we all know, I'm sort of following in the shoes of Terry Anderson. And we all know that Terry Anderson spoke accurately and eloquently and passionately in the 90s about how illegal aliens have subjugated Black America in Los Angeles, or relegated Black America in Los Angeles to a permanent underclass. But the Southern Poverty Law Center put Terry Anderson's show on its blacklist. Like he's a hate group, because he was talking about illegal aliens, folks in the country illegally pushing Native Black Americans out of the city, out of work. You see, he did that in the 90s. And the Southern Poverty Law Center. So, the Southern Poverty Law Center, Morris Dees was fired. And they're getting their comeuppance, right? And this is why we love Trump, because so much stuff is being revealed for the fraud and the scam and the chicanery and the con and the upside down. That was the song. Well, upside down. Everything's twisted. Right side up. Everything's topsy-turvy. And it's been that way for decades. Because what the heck is Julian Bond being the president of the Southern Poverty Law Center, Julian Bond, who worked with Martin Luther King? What is he doing, the president of the Southern Poverty Law Center, when the Southern Poverty Law Center named Terry Anderson's show, which talked about how illegal aliens are adversely impacting Native Black Americans in Los Angeles, taking all our property, pushing us out of all our neighborhoods, taking all the jobs. They have 90% of the construction jobs are held by illegal aliens in Los Angeles. 90% of the trade jobs are held by illegal aliens in Los Angeles. We are 40% of the homeless in Los Angeles. Terry Anderson talked about that. But the Southern Poverty Law Center had him on their blacklist, their hate list. They called Terry Anderson a hate group, right? So everything's just topsy-turvy. Thank God. And when they say the chickens are coming home to roost, well, they're coming home to roost for Morris Dees, right? Because listen, this is why I say it's Psychology 101. Psychology 101 is what? Projection. What you say I am, that's you. So everything that the Democrats say that the conservatives are, that's them. Just automatically turn it around. Everything they say Trump is, that's them. That's the Democrats. So, Morris Dees has been fired, and they're conducting, and he heads the Southern Poverty Law Center since he was one of the founders, right? And he's 82 years old. He's being fired and investigated because they said that there's racism and sexual harassment. In fact, I saw an article that said that one of their Black lawyers was fired, and the employees signed a letter expressing their displeasure with this employee being fired. So, I titled this show, A Case for Reparations. I can make the case for reparations. Of course I can. And that's why I need to get on TV, right? I'm on radio now, but I need to get on the national stage because it's not, everyone that says Black Americans, Native Black Americans who have been here since its founding should not get reparations. Everyone that says that doesn't know Native Black American history. They don't know the data. We've been in this country 460 years since its founding. And despite everything and despite sustaining the Democratic Party, we're going to be at zero median wealth at 2053. Right after slavery, Native Black Americans have 1/2% of the wealth of America. We now have, and I thought it was a small number, but now it's a small number. Yeah, it's a small number. We now have 2.6% of the wealth of America. 2.6. We had 1.5% right after slavery when there were only 200,000 free Black folks. And now we only have 2.6. Yet the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is supposed to be taking on poverty, which is supposed to be contributing money to impoverished communities. That's why it's called the Southern Poverty. They have poverty in their name. They're worth $500 million. And much of that money is overseas or in the Cayman Islands or Bahamas or whatever. Why? I think George Clooney even donated to them. In other words, when you want to fight injustice, you donate, you give your millions to the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now the Southern Poverty Law Center is being investigated for racism. You see how weird that is? So anyway, I can make the case for reparations. Why? Because it's not just about slavery. It's not just about slavery. It's about Black codes, right? It's about sunset laws, right? It's about convict leasing. It's about meritorious manumission and benign neglect, right? It's about Jim Crow. It's about redlining. It's about, high immigration. Because, in the 1800s, Frederick Douglass talked about high immigration relegating Black Americans to an underclass. They couldn't get jobs. Men need work to keep a family. Men need work. They need to earn wealth to raise their family. If you are precluding Black men from raising their families, from earning money to raise their families, you won't have families. So you are subjugating Black Americans to an underclass, the permanent underclass. We've been at the bottom and we're at the bottom now. We're below illegal. Democrats put illegal aliens above Black Americans. How is that not absurd? That is absolutely absurd. And Black people who still vote Democrat they don't understand anything. They don't do any research. They don't get on the internet at all. Because if you get on the internet, you have several people, several YouTubes talking about how illegal aliens adversely impact Native Black Americans. The data is clear. So people who are still voting Democrat are lazy. They don't have a computer. They don't do any research. Because the data, it may not be on TV, but it's on the internet. All over the YouTube. Dr. Claude Anderson talks about it. Boyce Watkins, everyone talks about it. That illegal aliens takes jobs away from Black men. And it's been going on. High immigration takes jobs away from Black men. And why can't Black men have a job? Why can't Black men have real wealth? Why can't Black men raise their families? Why not? We've been here forever. Why aren't they able to do that? Native Black Americans are like Tina Turner, working their butt off for free for 150 years at least. And then we have nothing now. And you're not ashamed, America, because of that? We have nothing. We fought in every war. And I can't understand people who don't understand why we are in dire straits. How did we get here? How did we get here? That means every single policy that was for the betterment of Black America, was to affirm Black America, was a sham. Like the Southern Poverty Law Center was a con, was a trick, was no good. Every single policy. So what does that say about people? What does that say about people? What does that say about America? It says human nature is effed up. Yes. You know, and Robert De Niro, you know, did you see the movie with Robert De Niro? He was playing a mobster. And in that movie, he said, oh no, you know, they were talking about divvying up the money. And his character said, oh no, you don't give the Blacks any money. Don't give the Blacks any money. That's the way, you know, that's the way it's been for Black. It's like, never give Black folks anything. I mean, don't give them work. Because that's when you go down the Skid Row, that's what you see. Don't tell them about businesses. Don't tell them about deals. Don't tell them about some kind of advantage to make things right, to do better, to better themselves. You know, one of the things that Dr. Claude Anderson said is that when Black folks get in the media, they never get in the media. When they put their hand on the media, they never put their hand on the media. They never get in the media and do the upliftment of Native Black Americans. It's never positive. It's always negative, like the rappers. Their pants sagging and calling women the bees and the hoes. It's never positive. It's negative. Just like Oprah dragging Michael Jackson, you know, bringing that, the man's dead and she's bringing that up. Never anything positive. And that's the way it's been forever. You know, I think of Bessie Smith. Think of the teenage, you know, moving their legs as fast as possible. I mean, Tina Turner, you know, I'm really glad she's in Switzerland and enjoying her life. Because I think of all the other Black entertainers before Tina Turner that weren't able to enjoy their lives. You see, no one knows Black American history than Black Americans. So when you have, and no one is going to make the case for reparations better than a Black American. No one knows that history better than us. Not all of us know it, but those of us that do know it and know the data. So it's not just slavery. It's like, stay in your lane and let Black Americans make their case for it. We don't need your input, right? Anyway, there's my music. So I'm going to open up the phone lines. What we're touching on. Oh, I love this music. I'm a music lover, right? Is it clear or not? I'm going to open up the phone lines, and I want you to call in and talk about why you think impeachment should be off the table, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and the case for reparations. So those are three things that you can call in and talk about. We'll be right back. This is the Naked Truth Report. Welcome back. This is Kathleen Wells Show. Oh no, that's my old show. Remember my old show? Remember, folks, that I used to be a liberal. In fact, my show used to even air on the Progressive Voices channel when I had the Kathleen Wells Show. It aired on KCAA in the Inland Empire, AM 1050, and they would re-air it on the Progressive Voices channel. Can you believe the Progressive Voices channel? In fact, the founder of the Progressive Voices channel, the Progressive Voices channel used to have Rachel Maddow, and the founder is John Sinton. And they would re-air my show on that show, and they never paid me a license fee or anything, you know. I mean, I wasn't working as hard as Tina Turner, but I think I should have gotten paid I should have got a license fee for them to re-air my show. Don't you think that was reasonable? I think that would be reasonable if I would have gotten a license fee for them re-airing my show, right? I mean, hello. Anyway, I have a call already, but first I want to say one thing. This is what I want to say. I wrote it down, so I want to say it. When we see the level of chicanery, I like that word, CHICANERY. When we see the level of chicanery by American political elites and their comrades and offshoots, you better believe I can make a case for reparations. Think of the Southern Poverty Law Center. They have $500 million overseas in the Cayman Islands. Oh, think of Felicity Huffman and her comrade, that other actress, I can't remember her name. She was in Aunt Becky, I think it was called. Think of these women giving, there was one character in that group of the college scam paid $6.5 million to get their kid in college. This is like ridiculous, right? I mean, it's like, of course I can make a case for reparations because it wasn't just slavery. After slavery, there were black codes. After black codes, there were sunset laws. After sunset laws, there was convict leasing. After convict leasing, there was what? Jim Crow? After Jim Crow, there was what? Redlining? It's like every time black folks started to start start a town or a city or something like Black Wall Street, they would burn it down. And they never received recompense. Come on, folks. Of course, I can make a case for reparations. The right folks aren't on the national stage talking about it because I don't just talk about slavery. We've been here 460 years and we only have 2.6% of the wealth of America. And it's not like we haven't been tap dancing like Tina Turner. It's not like we haven't been moving our feet fast like the Ikettes. In fact, we even worked for free, our ancestors, for over 150 years. We built Wall Street. They burned that down, right? So of course, when Felicity Huffman or whoever pays $6.5 million to get their kids in college, they put a black face on affirmative action, and then come to find out it wasn't black folks benefiting that much because Title IX came right in, right? And then, and I know that there were lawsuits. In fact, I saw the lawsuits that white women filed against Hollywood for not hiring them to work. And you can't even get black lawyers to file lawsuits. In fact, I want to get in touch with that lawyer who's filing a lawsuit on behalf of the Covington, the people involved. What's that man's name? Lansman or Sandman or something? Nicholas, I can't remember. The young boy who was involved with the Covington Catholic Church, and he was standing in front of the Indian man. I don't even say Native American, because we're Native Black Americans. They're not native to America because America didn't exist when Indians were here, and they crossed the Bering Straits 6,000 years ago, right? It wasn't America. And, America is not just the land. So, America is not just the land. America is what's built on the land, not the land. Okay. So, there aren't the right people on the stage advocating for Black Americans. No. That's why we keep losing. And the nerve of Julian Bond to be the president of the Southern Poverty Law Center. See, they use black faces or what black people have experienced, injustice, racism, or whatever. They use it to make money. Morris Dees used that to make money for himself. Because black people didn't benefit off of the Southern Poverty Law Center, not one bit. Anyway, let me take a call now from Mike. Hi, Mike and Van Nuys. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Hello, Kathleen. Yeah, I want to just say one thing. You are one hell of a talk show host. And I think you should, before long, be on that little circuit you were talking about. Also, I'd like to say, as far as the what you're trying to say with these reparations is, which is very difficult to delineate the populations. But one thing you're trying to say is its lack of leverage. Any given group that you find, generally speaking, will have some form of leverage, and that's the horse and 40 acres and that sort of thing, or anything of similar nature that was denied black people. And so I think that, and it's obvious. I mean, there was a certain point in time in this country where they wouldn't even let people read.
Right.
I mean, they protected their own. And in the course of protecting their own, they had very nefarious ways of doing that. And so I wish you the very best, and I hope that this is a great show.
Oh, thank you.
I
Wait,
enjoy it.
well, it's just human nature. You see, and Dennis, I love Dennis Prager because he's very wise. If you live as an adult so long and you don't understand human nature, this is human nature. Each group is they put their group first. There's nothing wrong with human nature, but our Black leaders made Black folks be for the world. We are the world, all that bull crap. That's not how the world works.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah.
I think political correctness has just about destroyed this country.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as the human nature goes, it's sort of a form of tribalism. It's a natural instinct.
It's a natural instinct.
Yeah, and I think that, and this has a what do I call a disproportional effect over time.
Mm-hmm.
And it anyway, that's pretty much what I want to say.
Oh, thank you, Mike.
Good luck to your show. It's great.
Thank you very much. Yeah, be sure, this is like housekeeping. Be sure to go to the Naked Truth Report YouTube channel and click like and share and subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. Okay, hi, Dave from Orange County. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Hi. Well, I hear your frustration, and I'd like to offer a few solutions. Carl DeMaio, my number one deal is Carl DeMaio has Reform California. And if you go to the Facebook page called Strategy for the Republican Rank and File, you'll see the link and explanation for his big thing he's doing. You know, Kathleen, we all know that the unions are controlling the Democrats in California, so we've got a plan. Carl DeMaio has a plan to break it. You know, the Janus decision last year allows a union member to opt out of their union dues while still being able to be a union member. And so there's a plan. You go up there again to the Strategy for the Republican Rank and File, and you'll see the plan, what you can do. It's encouraging, persuading union members of government employee union members to opt out of their unions dues and get their rebate. So that's my number one point. And number two, I just got this from the FPPC. This is the campaign rules. This is a state agency where if you want to ask a question, you want to know the rules on campaigning. So I got this answer from them this week. Can I recruit volunteers for my candidates for the upcoming 2020 election, even if they haven't filed? Yes, you can. Folks, you can go around to your family members and recruit family members and friends and people you meet to volunteer for your Republican Assembly or state candidate in the future, even though you don't know that, then who is going to run. So I would encourage that.
Okay.
Also.
Okay, Dave, I appreciate what you're saying is that Black Americans, Native Black Americans need to get engaged and involved politically and not with the Democratic Party because they've already failed us and we must move on and move up. Okay, thanks, Dave. Okay, let's take a call now from Matt in Los Angeles. Hi, Matt. Welcome to the Naked Truth Report.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask, I think there's a strong case to be made on the merits for reparations. But how exactly would it get passed politically? I mean, Black Americans are 13% of the population, I believe, and not all Black Americans are in favor of reparations.
Well, this is the thing. When you say how, that immediately makes you irrelevant. Because there are experts that can figure out, and you have to do a complete study and know all the numbers and know all the history to get it done.
No,
and but you're saying what?
Well, I'm not asking how it can be done technically. I'm asking politically. How do you make it popular?
It doesn't have to be popular. It's just that, Native Black Americans need to go talk to Trump. Now, I know you get on YouTube and see that, a lot of Native Black Americans, all the Democrats are saying they are for Kamala Harris and...
Oh, no, Sanders isn't, though. Sanders wants to generally...
I know, but I'm just saying the others are. Hey, listen.
They're not going to do that.
Yeah, but they're saying they are. So this shows the power of Native Black Americans because it's at least discussed. It's in the dialogue. So that shows the power.
The only way that you're going to be able to close the racial wealth gap is by a general redistribution of wealth from the top 1% that controls 40% of the wealth in this country, the top 10% that controls over 80% of the wealth in this country, to the rest of us, black, white, brown, yellow, everybody.
No. Wait. Are you a native black American?
I'm not, no.
Oh, well then why are you talking to me about it?
Well, because if you want to get this passed, then it's a democracy.
No, it's not. No, it doesn't have to be voted on.
Sure,
we don't need.
In a democracy, it does.
No, it doesn't have to be voted on. Did we vote on? Did we vote on DACA?
So Trump could do an executive order.
Did we vote on DACA?
No, we did.
Okay, so it doesn't be the
order.
It doesn't. But why are you even concerned if you're not? This is not your lane. You're not a native black American. So why are you so wrapped up in it and concerned about something that's not in your lane?
Well, my lane is
your group.
I mean, I think that black Americans would benefit disproportionately from a general redistribution of wealth.
But why is that? Why are you concerned? But I want to know, why is this your concern?
Donald Trump is not going to sign an executive order.
I asked you, Matt, why is it your concern?
Well, my concern is getting the wealth away from the top 1%.
No, but I said, why is what black Americans do, get, not get, whatever, why do you concern yourself with that? Answer that.
Well, because I'm interested in it.
Why?
Because I'm interested in politics, generally.
But why you? But you don't see black. Are you Latino?
No, I'm white.
But you don't see black folks going to white folks and say you shouldn't get this. Do black folks go to Jewish folks and tell them no, they shouldn't get it, or how are you going to get it?
There's all sorts of black folks in this country who say all sorts of things. I mean,
but you don't. But black folks don't go to Jewish folks and say no, you shouldn't get anything for the Holocaust, do they?
Black, it's not a category that exists.
You say what?
There's 13% of the country. There's like 40 million black people.
I'm just saying, generally, do you see that happening?
It doesn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't get it.
But no,
how does it happen? How does it happen?
But when you ask how, it's like, why? You don't have to concern yourself with it. Why? Why do you have to concern yourself with those details? Did we concern ourselves with the details of DACA?
Okay, so Donald Trump is not going to sign an executive order for reparations.
Fine, okay, that's your opinion.
Never accept that.
That's your opinion.
They will never accept that.
That's your opinion, and your opinion is worth your opinion. And a cup of coffee is good.
The only way that you're going to get
Matt
is by electing Bernie Sanders.
Matt. Anyone who for Bernie Sanders really doesn't get what's going on and how politics works.
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Because Bernie Sanders is another fraud. Why can't you see that?
Why?
Because all politicians are frauds and con artists.
Like Trump, including Trump?
No, is Trump the establishment?
Yeah, he is.
No,
he's
not.
The wealthiest cabinet.
But no, he is not the. You know why Trump was voted for? Because he's non-establishment politician. He's a businessman. He is not an established politician. Bernie Sanders has been in politics for over 20 years. I don't know how long, but a long time. And more disproportionately, black men are in prison in Vermont. Okay, all politicians are
all over the country.
I don't know if that's true all over the country, but I know different states are not. You don't have.
And he's the senator from Vermont. He doesn't control the prisons in Vermont.
But
senator.
Okay. Anyway, Matt, you're a
the governor controls the prisons.
But it's so typical that a liberal,
I'm not a liberal. I'm a socialist.
Oh, a socialist would be concerned about Native Black Americans getting reparations. Thank you for calling.
I'm concerned about.
Bye. Okay, I'll take a call from Mike in El Segundo. Hi, Mike.
Hi. Oh, my God, socialists. Socialists just want to bring back slavery under a different name. They want to enslave everyone. It's just amazing that anyone in their right mind could be socialist today unless they think they'll be a member of the ruling class.
And he had everything figured out for Native Black Americans. Isn't that typical? Like the most liberal white folks have everything figured out for Black folks.
Well, they're the ones who created so much of the problems, and the Democrat Party pretends that they're not the racists, that the Republicans and conservatives and libertarians are all the racists, and the Democrat Party is even continuing not only all their racist policies, but even some of their Jim Crow laws. Like, just an example, gun control, it comes from the Jim Crow laws that the Democrats passed back, before. They used that to control blacks because they would not allow them to own guns because they did not want slaves revolting and gaining their freedom. They restricted their freedom of speech, and they even restricted their right to travel without written permission. In fact, that's what the Dred Scott Supreme Court case was all about. I don't know if you've read the decision on that. It's very important.
I think that, I just want to reflect a little bit on that call from, what's his name, Mike? I can't remember. Not Mike, but not Matt.
Not Mike, but the previous call, the socialist.
Yeah, Matt the socialist. He was so motivated and so concerned about Native Black Americans, and he knew we would not get an executive order for Trump. He knew he knew that we should... this is a socialist.
Let me tell you something, though. I'm Caucasian. I'm Jewish. My mother escaped from communist Russia. It's a blessing. I thank God every morning that I was ever born because my mom was able to escape from communist Russia. A lot of her relatives were murdered by the communists for being Jewish. They didn't like Christians either, by the way. They don't like people who believe in a higher authority than the communist dictator, namely in God. And my wife, her father was in a communist torture prison. And so it's a blessing she was ever born. So she's very fortunate to have ever been born also. He managed to escape from the torture prison. He was one of the few who made it out and made it back to America. But the thing is, these socialists, these communists, they can call themselves whatever they want. They used to call themselves liberals, which was a false label. They rebranded themselves as progressives once they wore out the liberal label and destroyed that name. And now they're coming out of the closet calling themselves socialists because they've had so many years of the news media covering for them and bolstering them up, and the fake education system, the socialized education system's been indoctrinating whole new generations into Marxism, socialism, and communism. So they're getting really bold now. It's really dangerous. That's why they want to take the guns away from all the law-abiding Americans, black, white, brown, everything. They want to take guns away not from criminals, from law-abiding Americans, because they have to do that before they can impose their Marxist dictatorship.
Okay, Mike. Mike, let me take one more call. We're getting ready to hang up now. Let me take one call from Sharon. Hi, Sharon.
Hey, you are so on fire. I love it.
I'm sorry?
I said, you are so on fire. I love it.
Oh, are you on the speakerphone? Can you get off the speakerphone?
No, I think maybe my cell phone could use me a job.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, I got a fire in my belly. Thank you. Oh, she hung up? Oh, I guess I missed her. I couldn't really hear what she was saying, but I mean, that was so fascinating, folks out there in listener land, my truth warriors and mythbusters. I can make a case for anything, right? I can make a case for anything because I know all the data and I know all the accurate political history, and I'm an advocate for my group. Yeah. Because I better because no one else is, right? And yet that Matt, that socialist, you see, it's like he is so that is just typifies to me what Black Americans, Native Black Americans have been experiencing by being with the Democratic Party. And that typifies that Julian Bond, the civil rights leader, would be with the Southern Poverty Law Center. And they have the name poverty in their title. And have they, in LBJ's Great Society, he was supposed to deal with poverty. I think they spent $3.2 trillion on that program. And we got more poor Black folks, Native Black Americans now than ever before. Isn't this nothing gets done. Nothing gets accomplished with these folks. That's why we have to leave the Democratic Party. Now, I know when you go on YouTube, a lot of those folks who are making their cases, everyone can make their case for, and that's another thing that was interesting about Matt. He could tell me how other Blacks felt. Here, I'm a Black woman, and he's like, well, other Blacks aren't, how are you going to, they always say, how? How are you going to do it? How, it's like, make the case and make the demand. This is what it is. You don't get our vote if it's not, if we don't get anything for our vote. We've gone 460 years. Well, how long have we been voting? For 60 years? And we've gotten nothing for our vote. So, we just don't vote anymore. That's what I say. Don't vote anymore, Black folks, unless you get something for your vote, right? I think that's because voting is quid pro quo. You're supposed to get something for your vote. If we don't get anything for our vote, we don't vote, right? That's the position we take right now. Anyway, there's my music, and we'll be back next week. I don't know what I'm going to talk about. It will depend on what happens in the news, and I may get a guest. In fact, I was thinking about who was I going to get? I can't remember. I forgot. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Thanks for joining me on the Naked Truth Report. I'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.